What if the reason your company no longer feels like your company is growth itself? Most entrepreneurs are told that getting bigger is the only definition of success. But Small Giants tells a very different story. It follows 14 businesses that deliberately chose greatness over endless expansion, and the trade-offs they made to protect what mattered most. If you've ever wondered whether growing bigger is costing you something important, this book digs into exactly why that happens. The link is in the description. So before you assume growth is the answer, ask yourself a few questions. Are you expanding simply because everyone expects you to? Does it feel like outside money is slowly influencing decisions you used to make yourself? Have the close relationships that once made customers fiercely loyal started fading? And do your employees show up every day without much real enthusiasm? If you're trying to build a business that stays true to its original purpose instead of chasing growth for growth's sake, subscribe. This channel breaks down one business book like this every week. The first domino is surprisingly simple. You may never have consciously chosen to grow at all. In Chapter 1, Free to Choose, Burlingham argues that many entrepreneurs drift into expansion because it feels like the default path, not because it matches their values. The hidden cost is that size often replaces quality, culture, and community, the very things that earned your reputation in the first place. The book makes the case for choosing growth deliberately rather than automatically. But even founders who make that choice still face another challenge. That's where outside pressure enters. In Chapter 2, Who's in Charge Here?, Burlingham explores Martin Babinek's experience to show how outside investment often brings outside control. Capital can help a company grow, but it may also give investors influence over the company's direction, priorities, and pace. Suddenly, the original vision belongs to more people than the founder. If you've ever wrestled with balancing investment and independence, let me know in the comments. It's a dilemma many founders quietly face. And even if you keep control, another problem begins to surface. Relationships start weakening. Chapter 4, Ties That Bind, explains why the strongest small companies treat customers, suppliers, and their communities as essential business assets rather than nice extras. When those personal connections disappear, loyalty disappears with them, and you're forced into competing on price against businesses with far deeper pockets. The book argues that genuine relationships aren't soft business ideas. They're competitive advantages. And what happens outside the company usually reflects what's happening inside as well. That's why Chapter 5, A Culture of Intimacy, shifts the focus to employees. Burlingham shows through companies like Echo and O.C. Tanner that people rarely become deeply committed because of salary alone. Without real closeness and trust, employees simply clock in and clock out, and that eventually shows up in customer service, product quality, and staff turnover. The book reframes culture as something built through meaningful relationships, not motivational slogans. But even a healthy culture raises one final question. What happens when the founder is no longer there? In Chapter 7, Pass It On, Burlingham explores how these companies prepared for succession long before they needed it. Without a thoughtful succession plan, years of culture, trust, and relationships can unravel surprisingly quickly after a leadership change. The longer that conversation is postponed, the greater the risk becomes. And that's really the heart of Small Giants. Default growth isn't just about getting bigger. It can quietly lead to lost control, weaker relationships, disengaged employees, and eventually a company that struggles to survive its founder. Burlingham's central argument is that greatness comes from intentionally protecting what makes a business exceptional, not simply making it larger. Small Giants explores that entire journey in far greater depth, and the link is in the description. Thanks for spending these few minutes with me. If this changed the way you think about growth and building a company you're actually proud to own, I'd love to have you back for the next breakdown. Turn on notifications so you don't miss it, and subscribe if exploring ideas like these helps you build a better business.